What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Stories, The Path of Destinies. My name is Splattercat. Very happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while and we continue our story. So the way that appears to work is that it's incremental. So as you complete the storyline by making wrong turns, you will inevitably make right turns that unlock these little stories right here, allow you to progress further, and then finally get the result that you wanted out at the end, which is the intended ending. I'm assuming you have to get at least 4 endings in order to make the whole thing happen, and so we did one of them last time. The truth is that Lupino is a traitor, a dirty, rotten rabbit traitor who wanted all of our sexiness for himself. He was upset about the fact that we got all the fox ladies, and apparently that's what he wanted out of life. So today we're going to continue our playthrough. I like this game a lot, so I will not relent. We're going to continue to play. Let's start.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Absolutely he could. You know what? If he had actually, if Lupino had just been like, hey man, I ratted us all out and now the Ravens win, I would have been semi-okay with that. But he did the worst thing you can do. He ratted us out and then he murdered me. I didn't even get my happy ever after the bad guys won. So you know what? We're probably going to go with... Let's go with the Sky Ripper, I guess. Sounds pretty good. We kind of worked on that last time, but then Lupino was a giant traitor, and so it ruined our endeavors. Let's get after it.
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
In conjunction with horrible fox violence.
As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lupino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
I know what I can stick with. This sword, straight into the side of a raven. We're going to get this doomsday weapon, and we're totally going to use it for good, and we're absolutely not going to become the new evil emperor if you give us unfathomable power. So in this quest, I think we're going after the aperture, or we're going after like some kind of containment housing for the Sky Ripper. I called it the Sky Stripper for like 3 episodes because it was funny. Now it's the Sky Ripper, though. We got to call it by its proper terminology. When we get there, it's going to be like, I know you've been giving me the wrong name. And it's going to be all upset with us, so...
This chest contained blank passports from 15 countries. And something useful.
Ore, so that we can continue to forge our swords. So if you're just jumping in right now, which I highly do not recommend, this is a very, very storyline-driven game. And in fact, I'd probably recommend... Oh, God. It goes against the YouTuber handbook, but I'd say don't watch this if you're going to play the game yourself. Because this is one of those games where you one by one uncover secrets and just find out new fun things to do along the way. Lots and lots of storyline to be uncovered. I will more than likely save up for the Winter Thorn. That'll give us the maximum access to doors without having to assemble the Shadow Blade. That's not unnerving at all. How does the door know to open? Does it have one of those pressure things that's in front of, like, Target, where the doors are like, kss? I think they should add a Star Trek noise to all those doors, where they go, kss, every time they open. It would make me happier. Oh, we got, like, beholders in here. Does he go right? I wonder. Is he going to come around this way? God, I hope not. Alright, so he's down. And then we got him right there. So that's 2 eyes blinded. Those things right there, we've never actually failed their challenge, so I'm not entirely sure what happens if one of them lays eyes.
Said Archimedes, and I shall open a gate.
Did he actually say that, or is that just made up? I'm always confused about these things. Ooh, getting vicious with it. Although I noticed that their insides now are kind of like a rotten blue color.
Who had built this castle? Did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Well then, what do we want to do with our points now? We got 2 skill points and we unlocked some truths. How do we get these ones right here, though? Do we have to get, like, even better truths? I suppose we'll find out. I wonder if the truths are actually linked to certain talent trees. Let's make our combo better. Attack immediately when the previous attack hits to land a perfect strike.
Nice.
We get bonus It could definitely be useful. Thank you, narrator. And then we can attack enemies at any distance. Auto activates when reaching a certain combo threshold. I also think impale your enemy on your sword and you grab him to cause damage. Okay, that's expected. We could also increase our maximum stamina by 1. I'm gonna make myself faster. I love running fast. And so, yeah, I do feel a little bit faster. That seems better to me. How do you know when you're comboing properly? Does it tell you? Will it be like, yeah, you're the best. Let me give you back scratches. Here, share my money. Here's my bank account number. Enjoy my social security. That might be a little bit too far. That might be a tad reckless on the part of, ooh, there's treasure over there. I want that. But that's the Winter Thorn door.
Hero Wall. Hero Sword. Ice Wall. Ice Cube.
Doubtful. Oh yeah, look at that. We do get the little bonusy things. Ah! He tried to get me. I'm gonna get those 2 because he throws a wrench in my plan pretty consistently. Oh, the viciousness, the fervor. 1,500 XP for 1 fight with a 50 combo. Wow, I think we might be getting good at this, Nerd Castle. I think we might be getting better. Then again, the challenge hasn't really...
Renato really hated inanimate objects.
Hey man, that's inanimate objectsist. How do they store fruit inside of a table like that without it going rotten and being all hella nasty? Plus, those fruits don't look altogether that delicious. They look a little bit like rotten pears. I don't like pears to begin with at all. I only like singles. No, pears are kind of a fruit that stands alone for me. Like, I'll eat it. It's not awful. Yeah, I had a feeling this was over here. Gimme, 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 gimme. We are working towards getting a new sword. So we got another wind essence, even though it looks kind of like an evil void essence. Hi there. The truth behind the Sky Ripper is shrouded in thick fog. The most believable tale is that the Transcendent Emperor used the Sky Ripper to banish Iblis. Then, the Emperor buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile to rid the world of the last divine presence? Or was it the price to pay for using such a tremendous power? Could the Sky Ripper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? My rituals will summon the Iblis Stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also cause the Sky Ripper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resources to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is an invaluable bargaining chip should the old ones decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try. But gods are predictable, and I can rely on that to always be one step ahead. Emperor Isengrim III's secret journal. He should probably stop leaving those...
Walls only let you through if they knew you were cool.
Kind of wish we had the ice sword right now. I'm feeling like missing out on the ice sword has definitely caused us some trouble. Did I come from this way? I came from this way. My directionality is poor. Void swords, ice swords. We're missing all kinds of stuff right now. I felt like the fire sword was the best way to go next, but honestly, it hasn't really benefited us that much.
Hey, I'm a firefox, thought Reynardo.
Is that what Reynardo thought? Is it? Oop, let's not do that. Instead, we'll do that. Perfect. Oh, these ones are actually, look, this one right here, not so fleshy on the inside. That one full of blood. I wonder what determines how much blood is inside the Beholder's security system. How many sacrifices have been given up lately? How many baby bunnies have died to water the grass of Beholders? Got him. And assuming that one doesn't turn around, we can solve that problem before it becomes...
If looks could kill.
Got that one too. I think I can do pretty good with this. That one gotta go there. Get him before this gets any worse. Ah! I failed it. I failed it. Right when I said I was getting better at it, too. It really is quite unfortunate.
Reynardo wondered if he could learn to cook this way. Probably not.
Just slaying all kinds of eggs and bacon and random stuff inside of his skillet. Getting that cooking XP. I'm going to go ahead and refill my vittles here because I don't see any breakable objects around. And they do hit pretty hard. I do like the way that you get punished for missing. What is going on here? So that goes to there. And then we need this guy. Like so. And that should lock it on in. At the same time, we can investigate what's this way and see if there's any treasures to be had. Yeah, well, my hotness was never in question on this. We're the fox. The fox is always the hot one in any anthropomorphic adventure. And I know what people are going to say about that, but they're always the cool one that has, like, everything solved. Ah, I tried to get that one, but I wasn't fast enough. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of him real quick. Lost my combo, but at least I didn't get hit in the face. So that's a plus. Go ahead and vanquish these two. Not the best fight I've ever had, but hey. Ooh.
Oh, sweet! A gem. All he needed now was a workbench, and he could slot it into his gauntlet.
So we got Shield Breaker, which, if its name is any indicator, more than likely gives us the ability to maybe hack and slash our way. Oh.
That had been his mistake before. Trusting his old friend Lapino, who'd been through so many battles with him and shed so many heartaches, who he'd rescued so many times. What was up with that guy anyway?
I don't know. Sometimes you get tired of being the underdog. You gotta be the winner every now and again. Gotta be the winner every now and again. Otherwise, you start to get resentful. Everybody needs a win.
See? That wasn't so hard.
It's in our nature to not want to like sit there and lose all the time, especially when, in the case of Lapino, it was on so many different levels. He couldn't even do like the simplest mission by himself without us having to bail him out. That's a pretty good chest right there. Well, to be honest, we're making out like a bandit on this one. We've gotten a lot of good stuff out of here. If I could get another workbench going, though, we could finally get the ice sword crafted. And with the ice sword crafted, that would give us access to 75% of all the doors in the game. Now, granted, we could take different turns along the way that would lock us out of them. What is that? Hooking a shield-wielding enemy rips away the shield, leaving them vulnerable. Oh, that's pretty good, too. Dash through enemies. See, that would be really, really badass as well. The true sword Fu. Attack enemies at any distance. Give me... Let's go with that right there. I think that's probably a really, really, really good plan. The shield enemies have been a moderate annoyance. They haven't caused too much trouble. Oh, treasure!
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
My sentiments exactly. It seems like she's in hunter mode, and it looks like she is a cat, which, by the way, how is a cat the daughter of a frog? I don't know much about biology. Don't know much about biology. But I can tell you that probably should not happen. Don't know much trigonometry.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
So you would say that the core of our strategy is to get the core. While we're on the subject, swords always make great points. Fantastic conversationalists. Pretty good at whistling, too, if I'm to believe every piece of trash fantasy literature I've ever read. Swords whistle through the air a lot, do they not?
Look at the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend. Was he confronting his own unimportance? What had got into him? He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero, and soon he'd prove it.
I think we have enough supplies right now to get ourselves the next sword. I'm pretty sure, but it looked to me as though... Yeah, unfortunately, the workbench is way the hell down there. We also haven't had the opportunity to really... What was the point of that? Just to go faster? That does seem like it'd be a fun pastime, by the way. Somebody needs to get on to inventing a hook shot. Oh, it looks like there's another diary down there, and then maybe it takes us to an alternate dungeon. Let's use the workbench. So, Schwertz, we can make ourselves the winter thorn. I think that's a really, really good plan.
The sword from the frigid north was really useful for making popsicles.
Also, it's got a guy's face on it, which is pretty cool. So, you know, when you're trying to make a sword epic, you should always put a guy's face on it. That one looks like it has like a little screaming Easter Island figurine on it. A little bit more threatening. This one right here has kind of like an Autobots Engage thing going on, like... While attacking freeze enemies. We also have a gem that I believe we can slot. So let's take Shield Breaker. Hits cause shield grunts to drop their shield. Sounds great to me. We have lots of options right now for dealing with shield breakers or shield wielders or whatever you want to call them. Is that a fruit right there? Yeah, I'll take that free fruit. So now the question becomes, do we go back and unlock this door with the sword that we just unlocked? And the answer to that question is no, because we crossed a gap that I can no longer get back across. So, happy that that's been answered for me. Never mind then. Let's continue forward. We should test out the new blade, I think. Oh, wow, that's pretty solid. Huh. Not bad at all. Try and get rid of him. Try and get rid of him. Got that right there. Although I am missing the perfect strike, so unfortunately our combo didn't get up that high. But there will be plenty of opportunities for us to generate a little bit of XP along the way. Free energy right there. I do think that the Frost Sword is pretty legit.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Insert fart joke, but we've already done that. We've already cataloged that one. It's already been entered inside the YouTuber's repertoire, and I wonder if these open with truths over here. Because we haven't found anything so far that opens these gates. I'm going to save my energy for the most part for healing. I found these...
Almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these had to be imperial gogglers.
Gogglers.
Ravens were up ahead.
I do like the way that it's beginning to name...
Fewer and fewer trees. There are only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
I hate that when you just like engage in a task and then you realize you're hella hungry. Hate it. And then your like attitude's all bad. You're getting all sour with a quickness over every small setback. Just like, oh, I'm just so hungry right now. I can't maintain my attitude. I feel childish at the moment because I'm starving, and you're not actually starving. That's an over-exaggeration, but you are kind of hungry. I mean, you could eat. You could definitely use some nibbles. I don't think I need to break these anymore, but I kind of want the freebie ores that they give me. Was there anything secretive over here hiding from me? Yeah, that's what I thought. It looks like we got a firestone out, which is pretty cool, just in case.
The chest was really horrible.
It was horrible. It reminds me of like the accent that they use for like every single Fable game. Gosh, it was horrible. That's not the right sword. Don't do it! Oh. Well, maybe once you've unlocked the sword, you can slot any sword you want in? Alright, well that gets us through to right there. Doesn't solve much on that side.
Point of this gate. Did they think no one would notice the lever?
Yeah, you'd think they would just hide it underneath something or get like a keycard system or like a retinal scan or something. I mean, obviously they have the sophistication to build this gas distribution flamethrower system, so one might also be able to make the assumption that somewhere along the line they've got the technology, but they made a death ray out of the severed eye of a god. I think we gotta go like that. Exactly, you just gotta speed your way across. I am gonna slot that in right there. And I think the gemstone that we wanted is up here somewhere. Well, I've lost my... Oh, good, I broke his shield. That's a plus. I accept. See if I can get rid of you. Oh, you thought to be sneaky. You thought wrong, sis. There is definitely a timing to the combat, and once you start to unlock the combo system, that's why you realize before it feels the way that it does, is because without the combo system in place, it feels like your character is inhibiting himself at the end of every swing, and then once you unlock like the better combo system where you can do perfect strikes, it starts to make sense that maybe you're mashing too fast, and ooh, we've already found it. Good. Can I go this way? No, I cannot.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Well, we're out of time for the day. I wanted to say thank you for joining me as we play stories. I like this game a lot. I like this game way more than it looked good from the screenshots and the videos that I watched, but honestly, the game is so much more than that. I'm liking it quite a bit. They give you just enough action in between, just enough secrets and exploration in between, and then you get the good storyline bits that are super AAA. Either way, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Thanks for stopping on by. Hi to everybody.